Welcome back to it, guys. The Now Morning Show continues, and we are taking you on the Royal Caribbean cruise, at least vicariously, through the works of our next artist, who we say welcome back to, as Saegel Bascombe tells us about being included in the TNT artist selection for Onboard Murals. Good morning and welcome back to the Now.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It is delightful to have you back because you represent us, and this time around, a second time, means that you did it well first time. So they welcomed you again. This is iconic. What did it feel like to get that email, as you were telling me during the break?
Oh, it was very, very shocking. I remember jumping up in my living room with my sister. We were like, oh my God, we did it, what? Because, you know, when you apply, you're like, okay, I have nothing to lose. Let me put myself out there and apply. But to actually get the call back, that was really mind-blowing, you know. I thank God for even the ability to create so that I could do these, you know, cool, exciting things, see different parts of the world whilst doing what I love. That was, wow, mind-blowing.
I'm so happy for you. But let me live vicariously through you a little bit. What was the first experience like? Because I imagine that first, well, email or call would have been even more life-changing. So the first experience must have given you some learnings or expectations at least. What was that like?
Oh, you mean, well, this was my first mural with the ship. This was my first time doing that. And it was, well, this was my first time on a cruise ship at all. Yeah. So that in itself was mind-blowing. The thing is massive. It's like an island, you know, like people work, live, sleep, eat, everything on the ship. And it was also the biggest piece that I ever made. So that in itself, they had a lot of learning curves. Because, for instance, when I'm drawing on a piece of canvas, I can kind of eyeball what I want. But to eyeball on a wall is a totally different story. So long story short, I could not eyeball on the wall. So we ended up having to use things like phone cords and credit cards to map out a grid in order to place the image onto the wall to then paint it. And we had like 16-hour work days of painting. But it was very inspiring because it kind of showed me that this is another art avenue that I could kind of venture into, and I'm looking out for more murals to do because it was a really great experience.
All right. Now, you said we because you were part of a contingent for the Caribbean region altogether.
Right.
We saw artists from Haiti, Jamaica, Trinidad, of course. Have I missed anyone? Dominican Republic?
Yes. Yes.
So that cultural exposure was also, I imagine, impacting.
Phenomenal.
Ah, boy.
Phenomenal. And even just getting to meet all the people, all the crew on the ship as well. We have people from Madagascar, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, all over. And when I was referring to we earlier, I was able to bring 2 teammates with me, and I brought my sister and my boyfriend to help me, well, get the mural onto the wall, because like I said, it was a huge undertaking.
Of course.
And getting to know the other artists was, wow, they were all so pleasant. They were all so helpful, because, well, they knew it was my first time too, and they gave me little tips and tricks, and they were just welcoming. It was a beautiful experience.
Now, getting into the artwork itself, the intention was to, of course, include culture and heritage so that the travelers, the vacationers, the persons on board the ship could kind of experience it through your work. Tell me about the selection for that mural then.
Okay, so actually I was told that they had 270 applicants to the Artist Discovery Program, and they chose 4 of us to kind of represent our Caribbean culture and aesthetic through the art, because the cruise takes a route through the Caribbean, so they were like, why not have Caribbean artists, you know? And my piece was entitled Home. It's an image of 3 hummingbirds flying through the sky, and they're flying over Trinidad's northern hills, and it's sunset, so they're kind of basking in that light. And it kind of is reminiscent of just the feeling of coming home, returning home, whether it be from work, from a trip, from a friend's house, from far away, anything like that. And yeah, you know, that kind of calm, peaceful feeling of the journey home. So
well, I look forward to the journey on any cruise ship, but particularly with the Royal Caribbean, since it is decades of iconic travel that will be seen by hundreds of thousands, even more persons across the world. Now, you mentioned that you were selected and by many, but you were also given a grant to actually select your materials for the mural itself. So what did we choose to use this time around?
So for this mural, I chose to use a Liquitex paint, heavy body paint, acrylic, mostly because I wanted the painting, though it was a mural, I wanted it to have a very painterly feel. I wanted it to be as though I took one of my pieces on canvas and blew it up. So to still have that kind of acrylic sheen, acrylic gloss, you know. So I used Liquitex and I used Winsor & Newton paint brushes because I like the clean lines that you get with those brushes.
Specificity for me, I love it. And speaking of your canvas pieces, you have an exhibition coming up that is not on the ship, so we can actually see more of your work,
Yes.
which might feature some things from as young as 12 years old. Tell me about that exhibition.
So that exhibition is called Finding My Way Back. It's essentially a journey from childhood to present day of the artworks or various things that I've experimented with and tried throughout those years. And it's actually opening tonight. And it's at the Art Society. And it's free, so...
Underscored. Free.
Nothing to lose by coming. But yeah, so that's happening today and it's going to continue until Saturday. But tonight's the opening night, so I recommend coming today.
Absolutely, the artist themselves will be there. And more than anything, it almost is like a full circle moment because your piece on the ship talked about coming home and that journey home, your exhibition, of course, coming home to yourself. It means that you have a lot that you've internalized that you could probably share with aspiring artists, whether they're looking at a residency or an opportunity like being featured on the ship or just having their own exhibition. What would you say to somebody thinking about it now?
Well, to young artists, I would like to say to be true to you, be true to the kind of art that you want to make. Your superpower is that you are yourself and nobody is like you. So the art that you make will be unique. And if you, like I said, most successful artists are the artists who kind of pave a way for themselves and who aren't afraid to really leave their mark and be unique and be out there. So if anyone is telling you that your art is too much this or too little this, don't take them on, you know, like you could do you, essentially. And my last piece of advice would be to really go hard in terms of whatever it is that God might have placed on your heart for you to do, even if it's baking, if it's to open your own company, to do anything. It doesn't have to be painting, music, drama, anything you want to do. Really take that step and go with faith and do it. It might be scary. You might not see anybody doing it as well, you know, but that's okay. You could be the first, you know. And God says that, you know, our gifts will make a way for us. So go in your gifts.
It definitely made a way for you. You're cruising through as Saegel's work can be seen on the luxurious escape of the suite sun deck lobby if you are traveling via the boat itself, but otherwise we can see your works where else? Give us the contact to find you.
So I have an Instagram for my artwork. It's my name at Saegel, and I also have a TikTok, Saegel Art. And well, I'm hoping to be in more exhibitions as the years go by, but I always post about anything that I'm doing on my Instagram page especially.
So we can follow to keep up with things. Thank you so much for not only creating beautiful art, but for representing Trinbago beautifully.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, and we appreciate even more that you don't want to miss here on our morning show. Stick around. We'll be back after these messages.
Watching you from the side, you're making me feel